Hey guys, welcome to the video on our TOM, which is Template of the Month. So all you premium members and executive members, you will get one of these. This is for the month of August 2022, and we're going to take you through step by step the process of making this thing. So the first thing we did is we actually picked a piece of Sassafras wood, which we have laying around. We have had it for a while, and I like carving this stuff. It's pretty solid, but and it's hard, but it carves pretty well as long as you've got a sharp router bit. So we did some sanding on it, got it down nice and smooth so the router base would slide smooth and our layout would work well. Then we take our layout pieces, and as you can see, this template is actually 3 pieces. The inserts come out, you can use them individually or together, or you can use the square, the actual stencil itself together with the little boy and the little girl together. So you can see, and that's the reason I kind of carved it this way. So I've got the individual outset pieces and then the individual inset pieces. So the first thing I did was I used the profile bit, and I was at about 1/8 of an inch because I needed to get into some tight spaces here, and I went around the outset pieces and on the inside of the inset pieces. And the profile bit cuts it pretty good. Again, you want to make sure your router bit is sharp. Then after I went around, did all of my lines, my detail lines at 1/8 of an inch, then what I did was I set it deeper at about 3/16, maybe a little bit more than 3/16, and I cut it, I went around all the lines again. It's what I call my buffer zone. Or just gives you clearance around all of those detailed lines, so that when you go back later on with your background bit or your cleanup bit, same thing, then it gives you room so you don't have to get so close to those fine lines. So once I finished my buffer zone, then I used the 90-degree bit, and I went around the outset pieces and I went on the inside of the inset pieces. And then I took everything out of the inset pieces. You can see here is my standard background. That is just kind of a circular motion that I use with the 90-degree bit to give me a background. So once I've got my carving all done, then I take my stiff bristle brush. This is really important, guys. Don't skip this step. take your stiff bristle brush and an air hose. If you don't have an air hose, you can do it all with brush and just blow it out with a vacuum or suck it out with a vacuum, whatever. But you really need to get, and especially on hardwoods like this, there's going to be a lot of little burrs and stuff down in the carving. You got to brush it real good because you don't want those to come out after you've sprayed it black. So once the brushing is all done good and I've got it all blown out, all the loose sawdust is out of there, what I did here is I went ahead and put a 45-degree chamfer all the way around. And you want to be careful here if your board is too thin that you're not hitting your mat. So I checked that ahead of time to make sure I wasn't going so deep that that bearing was going to hit my mat. So I got the chamfer done. Then I take the same primer spray and I spray it black. And here's where you want to be careful not to overspray. On this Sassafras, it's not near as important as if you are using pine or Douglas fir, something that's really light colored, but you definitely don't want to overspray. Light spurts is always the way that works well for me to make sure that I don't overspray too much. So once that spray is done, then we let it set for a few minutes and dry. Once it's dry, the neat thing about this primer that we use is it does dry pretty fast. So once it's dry, then we bring it in, and this is a smaller board, so you can see I use what I call my sanding board. It's just a piece of MDF with a couple rails on it so that thing doesn't move around on me too much. If it's a bigger, heavier sign, then I don't use the sanding board at all. I don't need it because that rubber mat that I use on my bench will pretty much keep it in place while you're sanding. But small stuff, I would use a sanding board. Doesn't take much to make one, and you should have one. So then I do my sanding, and I'm using my disc sander with 60 grit sandpaper. Especially if I'm sanding a hardwood like this Sassafras, the 60 really takes it down pretty well, and the disc sander is my favorite sander of all time. That is just a killer sander. So I used a 60 with that. Then I went back and smoothed it out with a random Orbital and 120. And make sure, don't do the mistake that I have done for years and years and years, is moving that random Orbital sander way too fast. You definitely want to just take your time and move that thing slow. Otherwise, you're going to end up with more scratches and the sander doesn't get a chance to do its job. That's the way the random Orbital is designed, is to make a nice, slow, steady pace. And you'll get a great finish that way. So then, once that's all done, you can see here I did the reveal, blowing the sawdust off. Now what you don't want to do when you've got sawdust down in that black, you don't want to take a brush and brush that black. A lot of times I'll brush it with a real soft brush, but I won't do it when there's any sawdust down in there because it will dull that black. It microscopically scratches that black with the sawdust in there. So once a clear coat is done, that's pretty much it. Now, just so you guys know, informational, these templates are available on our website, makeawoodsign.com, and we had fun carving this one. If you guys have any questions at all, please email me, Eric, at makeawoodsign.com. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And again, this is a free template for the month of August for the premium members and executive members. One more shout out to our premium members and executive members for supporting our channel. All of you guys watching, and you go to the website and buy products, that keeps us available to do what we keep doing, and we want to keep kicking out more tutorial videos and product for you guys, more content. So thanks so much for watching, guys. We love you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.